Morning everyone, how you doing? It is Victoria Player here on victoriaplayer.com. Happy Mother's Day to you for all of those of you who are mothers. I hope you are having a well-earned lay-in and you've got a cup of tea, perhaps a bit of breakfast, and you are making the most of this morning to yourself. And those of you who don't have children, then happy day to you anyway. Happy Sunday. Thank you all for joining me here. I'm going to wait for you all to hop on. Let's have a little look here. Let me just refresh my page and let you join us. And then we'll get going. So I have got some super exciting stuff in store for you today, for sure. I'm quite excited about hosting this. We're looking at how I went from zero to generating £7,688 in 1 hour using speaking. Alison, good morning. You are the first one joining us. Happy Mother's Day to you if you're a mother. Other than that, happy Sunday. Thank you for joining me here. I hope you have a tea or a coffee and you're settled and ready to go. I will introduce you all, welcome you all as you come in. But also, if you're joining my live for the first time, one of the things I always recommend that you all do is to chat to each other, introduce yourself and your business in the comments below. Because of course, this is an opportunity for you to raise your visibility by being seen and heard in the comments, as well as listening into this. Who else have we got joining us? Excuse me. I know it's Sunday, so everybody's probably on sleepy mode, but I am up bright and early. Let's have a little look here. Let me just refresh my page. I'll wait for a couple more minutes and then we'll get going. For some reason, it's not showing me all of your names coming up, so I know it usually takes people a few minutes to arrive. There we go. Yes, I see we are live streaming. Okay, excellent. All right, well, I'm going to get started. If you are joining us, please introduce yourself in the comments below. Let me know in the comments where you're coming in from, where you're listening in from, where in the UK you are, or indeed the world. And also, if you are listening into the replay, we want to hear from you. Morning, Nikki. Nice of you to join us. If you are listening into the replay, write replay below as well. If you are listening to this as we go through and you think, wow, this is really great, this is going to really benefit other people. If you know other women who are in business and who could do with elevating their business and brand and earning greater income, then please do invite them into the Inspired to Greatness group. I will make sure that this is pinned somewhere, but there'll be an easy way to find this training. So feel free to add people to the party. The more the merrier, as I always say. I'm always a bit of a party girl at the best of times. So we can have our own little virtual party on a Sunday morning. Nikki's saying hi from Jersey. Alison, where are you based? So yes, let's get into it. We are looking at how I went from zero to generating £7,688 in 1 hour using speaking. And that is the exact number. I sat down and worked it out, and I've got my notebook here because I'm going to be talking actual numbers. And I spend a bit of time actually jotting it all down so I could be correct in what I'm saying. Who's that who's just joined us? Some of the names aren't coming up. So, yes, I will welcome you as we go along. Now, this is for you. We're going to go deep into this. I'm going to, I hope it's going to be inspiring for you. Some of it is about my story, but I'm going to be sharing how you can get started as well using speaking. As I said, we're talking about how I went from zero to generating £17,688 in 1 hour using speaking. So this is great for you. Excuse me. Beg your pardon. If you are a coach, a consultant, a therapist, somebody who runs a service-based business. They're the people I work with. That's my area of expertise. Of course, I run a service-based business, so I've learned the hard way and through investing small fortunes with various mentors around the world. Laura, good morning. How are you doing this morning? Let us know. Well, I know you're a Brighton girl, aren't you? But please feel free to introduce yourself in the comments below and chat to each other. And this is for you. If you are someone who is tired of enrolling clients one-to-one, 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 it's a much more leveraged way of working. And I know when we're enrolling one-to-one and marketing one-to-one, 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 morning, Debbie. Hello, nice of you to join us. Please introduce yourself in the comments below. Liz, I told you, 5 minutes and everyone suddenly flows in. Good morning, everyone. Happy Mother's Day for those of you who are mothers. I hope you're still in bed with a cup of tea and some breakfast. Obviously, I'm up looking glamour first thing on a Sunday, which isn't usual. I'll tell you that now. But anyway, I digress. So yeah, we're marketing one-to-one, 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 one-to-one. And it can get to that space where you do feel a bit burnt out about it. It feels like a bit of an uphill battle. And so there comes a point, especially when you have a full business, or maybe you're looking to really design your business around your lifestyle choices. Perhaps you want a lot more freedom, a lot more flexibility. Perhaps you're running your business around your family and so on. And in which case you really want to maximize your marketing efforts. And I know a lot of people get to the point where they're feeling burnt out because they are marketing a lot, but it's always this one-to-one. So perhaps you're going out networking or reaching out to people virtually online and making connections that way. And it's definitely a powerful way of doing business, and there's a place for that. Always. That is the fastest, most direct route for you to attract clients. However, as you start to expand more, you do want to leverage that and start to get a better return on investment from your marketing efforts and the time you put into marketing. Also, I know that you are going to want to expand your influence. You're going to want to expand your reach and also position yourself as an authority in the marketplace. This is when you can begin to elevate your fees and charge your worth and get it. However, in order to do that, you need to position yourself as an expert, as an authority. You want to stand out as in the crowd and have people see you as that go-to person. And of course, speaking is a great way for this to happen. Also, it is a great way for you to command higher fees because you are standing at the front of the room. Sheila, hello. I've not seen you for a long time. Oh, and ladies, if you're enjoying what I'm sharing with you, rather than me always interrupting myself and the flow and looking at your comments, please feel free to use the emojis along the bottom of the screen here, as Sheila has just done with that heart. Hearts, smiles, thumbs, likes, whatever you fancy. Camilla, good morning. Hi, Victoria. It keeps freezing. Think it's a problem my end. Yes, if it's freezing, it's usually because of weak internet connection at your end. So anyway, you can listen to the replay if any of you are having problems with that, because often it flows more fluidly, assuming, your connection is good at your end. So what was I saying? Yeah, if you want to command higher fees, then speaking is a great way of doing that because you're the one holding fort at the front of the room. And speaking is a really great way of building that know, like, and trust factor with people because, they see you. They see your body language. They see the whites of your eyes. They can tell if you're bullshitting or being shifty. Let's face it, because, there's a lot of resistance online. When we sell a service, a lot of people can have resistance because they can't experience what you do unless they buy it. And that in itself brings that buying resistance. Whereas when you're standing at the front of a room, people get a sense of you and your energy. They feel that they start to feel that know, like and trust factor. And also you're bringing value. You know, you're sharing your story, they're getting to know you, you're in the room with them. And so it really breaks down some of the objections, some of the buying resistance that people may have. And this is why it's a great way for you, you know, if you're looking to up-level your business and command higher fees, it is a great way of selling higher ticket programs and packages and events. This is also ready for you if you are looking to kick your visibility into high gear using speaking. When I started speaking, almost immediately I used certain things to leverage my speaking gigs so that the word got out far and wide, because people who host speakers, you know, people who are event hosts, they are quite, you know, they all know each other and they talk to each other. And so often speaking hosts talk to other speaking hosts and say, listen, do you know anyone who is a great speaker? Lee, good morning. Astrid, good morning. Nice of you to join us. You're all rolling in now. Happy Mother's Day to those of you who are joining, who are mothers, and those of you who aren't, happy Sunday. So yeah, event hosts speak to each other. And so if you're a great speaker, the word gets around. If people know that you're on the speaking circuit, suddenly, if you're using the right strategies, a lot of speaking gigs will come into you that you've not been out and actively searched for. So it's a really great way of kicking that visibility into high gear and getting the word out far and wide to audiences that you wouldn't usually have been able to reach. Not only that, what I found when I started speaking is that because I was really leveraging the speaking gigs that I was doing and letting people know virtually, you know, in the online world that I was speaking, I then was also invited to do a lot of international speaking via telesummits. I don't really do them anymore because I find them a bit annoying. I've got to be honest. You know me, you can always get the truth from me. I find a lot of people who host telesummits, they have a certain attitude and a few rules which are absolute BS, so I don't buy into it. You know, a lot of them are using telesummits to build their own lists and build their own communities, and they're often slightly newer business owners. But if you are new in business, telesummits and virtual speaking can be an amazing way of really getting a wider reach internationally. And I got to the point where I was sometimes doing 3 telesummits a day. It was just like, it was a bit too much. It's not that I'm not grateful for it, because I certainly am. My preference also is to be a guest, as you know, being invited to be interviewed for podcasts and different things like that, rather than telesummits. That's my preferred way of speaking virtually. But they're all connected. And so if you build your muscle, shall we say, by speaking live, because I think that is the best way to start. That's where you really get good at it. And you sort of position yourself as a good speaker, then that's when it's going to start to get out to other people who are doing virtual, you know, may invite you to do virtual speaking and so on. So this can really be an unbelievably profitable way of growing your business and expanding your reach, reaching audiences here in the UK and indeed nationally and internationally across the world in English-speaking countries. So it's extremely powerful. And in fact, I should actually add up someday how much it's generated me from doing all the speaking gigs that I've done over the years. I probably can't remember all of them, but it would be an interesting thing to tot up. Now, as I said, for those of you who are joining me, I am sharing the steps I took to go literally from zero, or I wasn't earning much in my business at that point, to earning over 17,000. In fact, 17,688 pounds. I added it up exactly, of sales and services by presenting a 1-hour speaking gig, and how you can do it too. Because if I can do it, you can too. And believe me, I know you may be thinking, yeah, but look at you, Victoria, you're a natural speaker. And it's true. As a child, I was a rabbiter, you know. Everyone used to say, shut up, Victoria, you talk too much. But actually, as you can see, I'm using my natural aptitudes to benefit my business. You know, if you're not a natural, you know, if you're someone who's more, what's the word looking for? Not an extrovert, the opposite, an introvert. If you're more of an introvert, it's not to say that you can't use speaking, but if that's you, perhaps you're better at writing, or perhaps you are great at speaking, but you don't want to be more visible, in which case there's other mediums you can use. But for me, I just harness my natural ability to talk. And I certainly wasn't great in the beginning. I knew what to do and when. You know, I didn't just go out there and rely upon wish and hope. My first speaking gig was planned. I knew what to say. I knew what I was going to say, how to lay it out in order to make an offer, and so on. And that's why I got great results. It's not a case of just standing up in the front of the room and just relying upon wish and hope, because I know a lot of people I work with initially, when they come to me, they say, I've been trying speaking and it didn't result in any beneficial, you know, any more clients or greater revenue, and so on. So yeah, if I can do it, you can do it. And I'm going to share with you how you can add it to your marketing mix to gain momentum, elevate sales, and really build your business perhaps faster than you would do if you were marketing one-to-one, one-to-one, one-to-one. Because of course, by doing this, you're marketing one-to-many. So let's get into this. The other thing is I'm going to try and give you all the detail that I can today, right now. But of course, we've only got a certain amount of time. So I'm going to be doing another training on Wednesday at 10 a.m. This coming Wednesday at 10 a.m. If you can't make it, then there will be the replay. So post in the comments below if you want the replay for that, because I'm going to be going more into the nuts and bolts of this then. And also, this is a sneaky peek of a live event I am hosting on the 17th. This is next Saturday. Be seen, be heard. So I'm going to give you more about that. If you want to add speaking to your marketing mix, then I'm going to be sharing with you how you can learn more about that going forward. Sound good? Yay! Excellent. Replay on Wednesday, please, Liz says. Anyone else joining us Wednesday? I'm going to be sharing how to, what was the topic? How to elevate your income using speaking, or something to that effect. I can't even remember the title. So, yes, let's get into it then. The exact steps that I used to add £17,688 to my business directly from a 1-hour speaking gig. So the first point with this is the decision that you are going to stand up and be seen and be heard, that you are going to put yourself out there. At this point in my, when all this happened for me, I'm going to give you the whole scenario and I'm going to tell you the story, because I know a lot of people are waiting to be ready, so to speak. But you're never going to be ready. It's about taking perfectly imperfect action and starting from where you're at and actually making the decision. You know what? I'm bloody going to go for this. I'm sick of feeling burnt out, or I'm sick of marketing one-to-one. I want to take my business to the next level. And that was definitely the case for me. I'd reached a point, many of you know, my son was tiny. I'm a lone parent. My son's father has never had any part in his upbringing or made any financial contribution to that, which was significant to me because it was a struggle to have a newborn and to be keeping a roof over our head and, meeting the needs of a newborn and running a business. It was no easy task. And so I reached that point where I was like, I've got to change it up a gear because there's no way. And, it's interesting that this is Mother's Day today because as a mother, I thought there's no way I am modeling the way my life was to my son because I'm all he's got. I am his role model. And so I thought I cannot continue to model lack for him. And that point, although I'd been making money in my business before he arrived, when he arrived, it was so all-consuming that my income just dropped. It was such a shock to me. I was exhausted. I was burnt out, round the clock feeding of a newborn. Everyone who's got kids knows the deal with that. And I very quickly found myself on benefits, which was not part of my plan ever. The shame I felt around that was unreal. And so I made the decision that was not going to be my story. It was not going to be what I was modeling to my son. And this is what made me decide to just get myself together and make the decision to go for it big time. And this is when I decided to do speaking. And this was one of the reasons why my first speaking gig was so profitable, because I made it a non-negotiable. I planned it to the nth degree. I practiced it. I made sure that first time was going to knock it out of the park. I was going to be the woman who was making that money, who was making a difference to the people I was here to serve. I was determined that I was going to up level from that point on. So I made it a non-negotiable. I didn't go into it I didn't go into it relying upon wish and hope. I went into it with my eyes open with a clear strategy for success. And this is one of the reasons why it works so well. So that is the first piece. It is knowing what to do and when, so that you can convey your message powerfully like an authority. Because otherwise, if you're shirking away, it doesn't matter if you feel nervous, because Lord knows my hands were shaking. And there's a few times when I had was holding a handout and you could literally see the paper shaking. So, what I want to get across to you is that it's not about confidence. Confidence is a learned strategy. I wasn't born with confidence. I built confidence through doing it, through being petrified and showing up anyway. Getting bigger than that fear. Nikki's saying, I've been asked to do some speaking, holding space in banks too. So any tips would be great, although I am like Victoria and good at speaking from a child chatterbox. Yes, absolutely. And Liz says, I have a speaking gig this month, so this is fab for me. Okay, well, make sure you tune in on Wednesday, because I'm also going to be showing more of the nuts and bolts. But what I'm sharing with you today is how a model, the model I use to be making that sort of money. So as I was saying, this isn't about confidence. You've got to decide you're going to learn to be confident and take perfectly imperfect action and show up anyway. Okay? So let me tell you exactly how this played out. First of all, I got clear on who it was I was going to serve. And this is where a lot of people go wrong with their speaking efforts. If you're going to take the time to put a signature talk together, to plan it, to create your speaker kit, to go out and get booked for speaking gigs. And then, of course, make sure that that speaking gig is being maximized so that there's as many bums on seats as possible, because let's face it, I've got to tell you, here's a little insider tip, not all event hosts are great marketers, and you don't want to get to that point where you are showing up for a speaking gig and it's like crickets, there's hardly anyone in the room. If you're going to get dolled up, plan out your outfit, you know, looking and sounding confident, whether you really are or not, then actually traveling to the speaking venue and standing there and going through that whole process, you want to make sure as many people in that room are your ideal clients. So this is about knowing who you serve. The reason why I did so well with my first speaking gig is because every single person in that room was a potential client for me. I targeted coaches. And so I went and spoke at a group that, it was a coaching group. They were all coaches. That meant every single person in the room was a potential client for me. It just meant I had to show up and make a case and create desire in them to take the next step. Okay? So that's your first key to success with this. Make sure as many people in the room are a potential client for you. Okay? Because otherwise, the message that you deliver during your speaking gig, it's going to be off. It's not going to apply. You know, it's going to be vague and hazy. And your success, this is the second part, is, and by the way, if anyone could recap for me, that would be really great. Recap in the comments below, just in case someone misses something. That would be very, very helpful to me. So the first one is, make sure you know who you're targeting, who your audience is. The second one is to design your message, your talk, to be targeted to that audience so that it's an immediate fit. Sorry, someone's just sent me a WhatsApp message. So it's audience, message, and then there's an immediate fit. From the minute you speak, they're like in. They're in your zone, all right? So that's the second step. Then, of course, you've got to apply for your speaking gigs and try and find audiences that are a great fit for your message. Now, in terms of making the 17,688, I actually reached out. Oh, I've got another update coming up. It's that time of day when they're all coming up. I actually reached out to a client of mine. The first speaking gig I did was via a client of mine who ran this coaching group, and actually she'll probably be listening to this replay. It was years ago. It was 2012, 2013 time. Probably 2013 maybe. End of 2012. That was it. And she marketed the event for me. However, I also spoke about it on social media and so on and so forth to maximize the bums on seats, shall we say. And so when it came to the day of the event, there were 30 or so people there, give or take. So it wasn't a massive room, but for my first speaking gig, that felt like a big number. And this is why my hands were shaking, because I'd never spoken to so many people live at that point. I'd done videos and posted them on Facebook, which is slightly different. I'd never done anything live before. And so I had 30 people in the room. And I knew that they were all potential clients of mine. And I delivered my talk, and I made an offer at the end of the talk. Okay. I also used another strategy, which I'll be touching on Wednesday, to actually bring other people in so I could get into conversation with them, just in case they didn't say yes to my offer. Okay, and this is something I'm going to be speaking about in a lot more detail at my Be Seen, Be Heard event next Saturday. So I made an offer at the end of the talk, and it was for a 1-day live event. It was in a luxury hotel. I like to treat my clients well. And anyone who comes into my world, anyone who comes into my world, I like to give them a nice experience. And so I made the offer of this 1-day live event at the end of my speaking gig. Now, the investment, I'm just looking at my notepads here because I've got all the numbers. The investment for that 1-day event was £297. So it was low enough to get an easy yes. It wasn't such a big figure that people would be, oh no, that's too steep of an investment for me. It was an easy yes for them. And this is the key with marketing. Sometimes one of the mistakes I see a lot of people making is that, especially if you're new in the marketplace and nobody knows you haven't got that authority status, you haven't built that know, like, and trust factor. In fact, you're a stranger to people. And I see people offering really high-end packages. Now, there's a place for that. And, that's something I've used myself many a time in my business and still do. However, often it's too great a leap from being a stranger to being a high-end client in one hour speaking gig, because they really don't know you that well enough to make such a huge investment. If you're really good at what you do, sometimes you can do it. But I have had, I've seen people in my community who are relatively new trying to do the high ticket piece, but they've missed certain stages out in between. And this is why, Jackie, good morning. Nice of you to join us. I've not seen you for a long time. But this is why sometimes if you're making higher end offers and you're not getting a yes, it's because you've not built enough rapport with people over a longer period of time. They don't know you well enough yet. They don't believe in you enough. And so that's what creates the buying resistance. Anyway, getting back to totally freestyling it here, ladies, but I hope I'm bringing you some value. Say yes in the comments below if you're enjoying this so far. I made the offer of the 1-day live event at $297. That's a relatively easy investment for a lot of people. I also did it in a way where I took a holding deposit there and then they paid the remaining balance before the event took place. And so from that live event of 30 people, and I hope you're writing this down, ladies, because this is a great business model and you can use it. This, if you actually go and do it, is going to be super profitable for you. So please write this down and take notes, okay? Debbie's saying, yes, she's enjoying it. Thank you. I'm glad you are. So I enrolled 4 people into this 1-day live event at $297. All right. So right there, off the back of a 1-hour speaking gig, I generated £1,188. Okay. Which isn't a bad return on investment. At the time I was living in the Midlands and I traveled down to London in order to do this speaking gig, which, even though it's a few hours journey, it was worth it to me for that kind of return on investment. So if you are someone who thinks that, I can only speak locally, well, think again. I've actually spoken all around the UK because it is so profitable. And that's just the beginning of the relationship. That's people meeting you for the first time. Imagine how much money you can make when you actually start to really build that relationship with them over time. You can start to offer higher end packages and programs, and with that your income goes up. And that's exactly what I did. So the people who came to my 1-day event, obviously I enrolled more people. Well, actually not for the live event I didn't, because I only had 4 people at that live event, because again it was the very first live event I had ever hosted. So there were 4 people there, okay? And so that generated £1,188. So along they came to the live event. This was up in Leicestershire at a high-end country house hotel. I hosted that day. I provided a huge amount of value, huge. I really pulled all the stops out and stood my ground, and I made sure I was being seen and being heard. I gave people my absolute best. And then at the end of that day, I made 2 offers. 2. The reason being is because they were at different price points. Because I knew I wanted to have an income breakthrough, and I was going to cover all bases to ensure that that money came in. And so the first offer I made was it was called the Inspired to Greatness Mastermind. This is how long I've been running the Inspired to Greatness group. And it was a 6-month coaching program, a lower end coaching program. And the investment for that was £1,500, okay, for the 6 months. So not a bad investment for that type of, for that period of time. And so 2 of the 4 people in the room said yes to that. Okay. So that generated right there and then £3,000 off the back of a 1-day event. The second offer I made was for people to work at a higher level with me, with more connection from me, more hand holding from me. And that was my Step Into Your Spotlight program, as I called it. And I sold it at £3,000 for 6 months. And the other 2 people took that. So of the 4 people in the room, 2 of them took the 1,500 package, and the other 2 took the 3,000 package. So that, just from that second package, that made £6,000. So altogether, I'm looking, if you're wondering why I'm looking down, I've got it on my notebook here. So altogether, that was 6, 7, 8. So that day, off the back of a 1-day event, I made £9,000. All right. So can you see, ta-ting, ta-ting? And I don't mind admitting, I have never made so much in so little time as I did that day. And as they started to write out their details to enroll on this program, I nearly passed out. I'm not kidding you. Because you've got to remember, at this point, I'd been living on benefits. I was so in lack, so in the struggle. My circumstances at that time had been so painful and challenging. And so to suddenly make that level of income, I had difficulty disguising my nervousness, my disbelief that it was even happening. But I was trying to hold it all together and position myself. I'm an authority. This is normal to me, But really, I just wanted to bawl my eyes out. And that's exactly what I did. After they'd gone, I held it together, waved them off, had it all together. I was, oh God, it almost makes me feel emotional just thinking about it now. I waved them off and I got to my car ready to drive home, and I burst into tears, like full on ugly crying. You know that where your shoulders are, because I'd done it. I'd become the woman I so desperately needed to become. I can't tell you how much it meant to me to no longer to be struggling and poverty stricken and not being able to afford food and not being able to afford to have any kind of existence. I was living on £62 a week at that time. Yes, my rent was paid by the government, but you can't do jack with 62 quid. I couldn't go out with friends because I had no money to even buy a drink, because I couldn't afford childcare. Like, the isolation I'd been in and the struggle had been so off the charts. So you can imagine, to go from that to generating £9,000 in a single day. At that moment, I believed in God. Not that I'm religious, but it was such a miracle to me. It had to be something bigger than me. That's when my spirituality went through the roof, because that was a miracle. And so I'm not kidding you. I cried all the way home. All the way home. Full on. In sheer joy and relief that my struggle was over. And this is why I was saying, when I was promoting this, how you can do it too. Because if I can go from that shitty place of struggle, like I can tell you there's not many people who are in as much lack, apart from a homeless person, I was in that much lack at that point. So if I can go from that lack to that, you can too. And I arrived at my mother's doorstep crying, and she thought something horrendous had happened. She was like, "Oh my God, what's happened?" Because of course she was looking after my son. And I told her, and that was my first breakthrough moment in my business. However, how did I get to £17,688? Well, remember, we're working from the people that I brought into my world from the 1 hour speaking gig. So I hosted these 2 coaching programs over a 6-month period, and almost on the actual day of my event, one of the ladies who had enrolled in the lower end masterminds came over to me at the end, and she said, "Listen, I'm signing up for the mastermind. However, I know I need more help. I just want you to tell me what to do." And so what I really like is a VIP day, 1 day intensive. And so off the back of that one event, a few weeks later, because she wanted to take out a loan to do it, and so she applied for her loan, and as soon as she got that through, she did a 1 day intensive with me, which was £1,500. So we did that, even though she was doing the 6-month program. And then as soon as the 6-month program was finished, that same lady then went on to work with me privately, one-on-one, for 6 months, which was £6,000. So that one lady, she invested $1,500 for the group program, $1,500 for a VIP day with me, and $6,000 for private coaching. And so there were 4 people in the room, 4 people. That is how I got to the £17,688 from one speaking gig. I delivered 1 hour of speaking, and that is the return on investment I achieved. Now, of course, it didn't all come in right there and then. I mean, right there and then, it still made £1,188, which in my mind is a great return on an hour of your time. So there you go, ladies. This is how I generated £17,688. So as you can see, this can be exceptionally profitable. And I'm going to be talking more about the nuts and bolts pieces on Wednesday in my next call at 10 a.m. So if you want to join me for that, let me know below. If you can't make it live, I will make sure you get the replay. But of course, one of the reasons I'm talking about this today is because I am hosting a live event on Saturday the 17th. That's this coming Saturday in Shoreham at the beautiful Shoreham Airport, which is a lovely Art Deco building. So if you know that public speaking is something that you want to add to your marketing mix, if you're looking to really elevate your income and get a greater return on your investment of time and marketing efforts and be generating, £1,000, £3,000, £5,000 or even £10,000 in your business, then this could be for you. Speaking is the way. It's going to help you raise your profile, become a memorable go-getter, really have you reaching an audience that you wouldn't usually meet. And this is exactly, Nikki's saying, I will be there on Wednesday with my 3-year-old. That's absolutely fine. We do children here. I have one myself, so designing business around children. But yeah, Be Seen, Be Heard is a fiercely smart one-day event for women like you. Because if you're on this, you're here for a reason. This message is meant for you. I'm hosting it with the fabulous Kate Nicholson, who is a stylist and colour expert, because one of the things I have learned over the years, this is not just about being great at speaking. It is about the whole package. This is about branding image, should I say, personal style and public speaking. When you put them together, you've heard about the results that you can hear. Now, this isn't about looking like me or looking glam. It's about looking like the best version of yourself, because I've seen time and time again, people go speaking and it doesn't matter how great your message is. If you don't look the piece, there's a disconnect, and people sabotage sales every time that way. I've seen it happen. You know, that's not my rule. It's the just fact, because whether we like it or not, we live in a world where people judge you like that in a second. And how you carry yourself speaks volumes before you even open your mouth. And did you know, statistically, after you've made one first impression, and people do that instantly in 3 seconds by looking at you, it takes 7 to 10 or even more times of you speaking to them in order for them to change their opinion of you. And it doesn't matter what you say. That is a proven fact. So I am teaming up with Kate, she's amazing at what she does, to really work with you holistically, to help you confidently show up and shine and share your message with the world using brand image, personal style and public speaking, so that you're the whole package, so that you can get better results more quickly. So we'll be looking at, also I find when you feel good about yourself, when you're standing up as the best version of you, not someone else, your version, your best version of you, looking the way that feels right for you and sounding the way that feels right for you, then you're going to exude that confidence. You're going to exude that authority. You're going to create your own brand personality that's aligned with your business and your brand and your personal message. Plus, I'll be sharing, more about the speaking strategy and what you need to be experiencing results like I've just shared. So, in fact, let me just drop the link to this into the comments right now. 2 seconds. Be seen. Be heard. There you go. I usually have a nice tidy link, but today I forgot. So there's more details there about the event, but just to give you an overview, I will just, if you see me looking down, it's because I'm literally reading from my webpage. So this is for you if you know it's time to break through your visibility blocks once and for all, if you're serious about achieving a stylish business and brand, and you want to create that air of authenticity and confidence. You want to position yourself as an expert in the marketplace. Plus, if you want to have results like the one I shared with you. Now, obviously, I can't guarantee that you're going to get those results because everybody's different. Everyone, is in a different niche and everyone conveys themselves in a different way. But this is for you if you're looking to really develop a prolific speaking presence and start being positioned as that go-to expert where people are reaching out to you to speak at their events or to speak internationally or for comment in articles or interviews. When you elevate yourself to that position, business starts to come to you, which again is going to help you get more for your marketing efforts. But I'm going to share with you specifically what you're going to learn. We're going to look at the one thing that is more important than your website logo and business cards. We're going to look at achieving your own sense of personal style. Sorry if I'm looking down, but I'm reading the details myself so that I don't miss anything. You're going to achieve your own sense of personal style, one that's aligned with a high-level business and brand. You're going to look at how to make great first impressions and be memorable long after someone has met you. Because as I'm going to share with you on Wednesday, there's more to this than just making an offer. You know, the truth is everyone in that room, even if they don't say yes to working with you there and then, they may do further down the line. So you want to have made that great impression from the get-go, because you know, many of the people I meet don't become clients immediately, but they do 2 weeks from now, 2 months from now, 2 years from now. That's when you start to really build momentum in your business. We're going to share with you how to market one-to-many instead of one-to-one, as we've talked about, so that you can maximize your efforts. We're going to look at how to quickly build a list of people who are already pre-qualified as a potential client for you. We're going to look at how you can actually generate big paydays on demand so that you can, elevate your income. We're going to look at how you can generate a consistent flow of enrolling conversations anytime you need them so that you never have to wonder where your next clients are coming from. And, there's a whole lot more, but I won't read it all to you now because I know it's Sunday and I know it's Mother's Day. But if you like the sound of that, then just head over to the link that I have dropped into the comments below here and read more about it. It's an intimate day for women who really want to play at a bigger level. Are women who are ready to show up and shine and share their message with the world. We are on hand to answer your questions. It is a beautiful venue, Art Deco, in the private room of the lovely old building. And I know the ladies who joined us last time really got huge amounts of value from it and have started to show up in a big way in their own business too. So ladies, I hope you have found this valuable. If you do have any questions about this, and how, perhaps how the event next Saturday is a potential fit for you, if you're not sure and you want to ask me some questions about that privately, then feel free to direct message me. I'm happy to set up a quick decision-making call so that I can answer any questions that you may have. And other than that, I look forward to seeing you for more of the ins and out nuts and bolts pieces on Wednesday at 10 a.m. right here in this group. So ladies, follow that link. I look forward to seeing some of you on Saturday the 17th in Shoreham for Be Seen, Be Heard. Other than that, on Wednesday, if you want some more juicy bits from me. But other than that, everyone have a lovely Mother's Day. For those of you who aren't mothers, you're still fabulous anyway, and enjoy your Sunday, whatever you are up to, and I'll see you around in here on Wednesday. Lots of love to you all. Mwah. Take care. Have a great day. Bye for now.